Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a plane game where when you hover over land, you cast a shadow, and when you hover over water, you cast a reflection, and also there's enemy planes trying to crash into you, but you need to shoot them down. And the game gets more difficult over time, and I made it become quite difficult because the demo would be too long if it wasn't, but you can make it become more difficult slower if you want to, and also you can add upgrades so that the plane can shoot more bullets after some time, after a certain score, or you can add a money system or make the enemy planes more powerful over time. But I just made it simple so that you can get the base of the game done, and then you can add more features just with a few changes to the code. So yeah, probably shouldn't have made the game become this difficult in such less time, but yep, there we go. So I got a score of 50, and I'll teach you how to make this game. So first, I already have this down, but I just made the backdrop blue, and then we can just start by making some of our sprites before we do any of the code. So let's get our plane, and for this I just got an image from the internet. You can make your own, or yeah, you can make your own with the Scratch tools. And as you can see in my backpack, I also have a shadow sprite, and the way I did this is I took my image from the internet and I put it into an image to silhouette generator in the internet, and you can get something like this for the shadow. I think it's pretty convenient, so I'd suggest you to do the same. If you made it on Scratch, you can just make everything black and it'll do the same thing. So yeah, we can name our sprites shadow and plane. Then next we need this green stuff, which I actually made it as a sprite so that we can detect whether to cast a shadow or a reflection. So I'm just gonna go freehand for this. I already have the green color equipped, but yeah, we can just do something like that and fill it in, and then make it go to the center. You can do that by making it go to 0, 0. And we have our terrain, and I did add a few buildings and trees, so I guess you could do that, but I'm just gonna skip it so that the video is a bit shorter. And next I'm going to just name this terrain, and we also need a reflection, which is just the same thing as the plane, so I'll just duplicate that and name it reflection. And we'll do a few modifications to this so that it is a reflection and doesn't just look like another plane. And we'll add the rest of the enemy and the bullets later, but let's just make the plane moving around. So first, as you can see, our plane sprite's pretty large. So to do this, okay, that's our reflection sprite. Our plane sprite's somewhere in there. And before that, let's just make the terrain go to the back layer, because right now our plane is under our land, which we don't want. So let's do that. Okay, back layer. Yep. And okay, our plane sprite is right there. And since it's too big, if yours isn't big, you can skip this step, but since it's too big, I'm going to set the size to about 40. I think that's a pretty good size. And then I can make it move around forever. So literally just move 3 steps, and if I run that, it's just gonna go ahead. But now to control it, we can just add if statements. So if we press you can either do WASD controls or arrow key controls. I'm gonna do WASD because I'm more comfortable with that, but you could do left arrow instead of A if you want to do arrow key controls. So A and D, and then since A is left, I'll do that, and D is right, I'll do that and put it in here. And 15 is a bit too much, so I'll just do 5. And there we go. You can modify these to make this would change how fast the plane moves. This would change how fast the plane turns. So yep, we have our plane moving, but right now it's a bit bland because there's no shadows. Kind of just looks like an image floating around. So to make the shadow, we can first, we want this to become the same size. So let's make the size 40% and put that in the when clicked, under when clicked. And then we also want to go backward one layer just so that it's, or actually we can make this go to the front layer. And then we actually need to define where our light source is. So in this game, we have our light source on the top right corner. So that's why if I go here, it, goes under the plane. But then as I go further away, it kind of, yeah, it's as if the light source is in the top right corner of the screen. So we need to make a sprite called the light source, but I didn't actually show the light source, so I'm gonna do the same thing and not show it here as well. But you can make the light source an actual object if you want. So just gonna use light source and just keep it blank, and then make it go somewhere like to the top right corner. So I guess that would be, I'll just draw a temporary circle and then drag it there. And then I can go to that position. Then I can delete this because I want it to be invisible. And then I think that's it for the light source. We just need a position that it is in, but then we don't need to make it move or anything unless you want to do that. And then to know where the shadow should actually be casted, we can make another invisible sprite called tracker. And yeah, just keep that there. And then for the tracker, we just want to we want to go to the plane where it is. So go to plane. And then we want to also point towards the light source. And then we want to point in direction, whatever direction it's pointing in, minus 180. And then we also want to move in a way so that it looks like a shadow. So move distance to, okay, oh yeah, there we go. Light source. Okay, that's the wrong block. Where is the distance to block? Yep, there it is. Distance to light source times 0.1 steps. And then we wanna, this isn't the actual shadow, so we want to make variables called x and y. Oh, okay, just gonna do that. If that happens to you, just switch to another sprite and come back. I'm gonna delete this one. Then y. Yep, there we go. We do not need to show them. And then we can set x to x and y to y. There we go. And then we can also hide, well, no, I guess we don't need to hide this sprite because it's invisible. So yeah, let's just leave it like that. Then we can go back to our shadow, and this time we want to forever go to x and y. and we want to point in the same direction as the plane. So point in direction of the plane, direction of plane, and also move distance to light source times 0.1 steps. And then I guess we do have a shadow now. Yep, there we go. And right now the shadow also appears on water, but we can add that a bit later. And as you can see, as you get closer to the light source, the shadow becomes right under the plane. So yeah, we have our shadow there. The reflection is optional, so you can skip this part of this video, but I would recommend it to make it look cooler. So let's go to the reflection. And for this, the code is pretty similar to the shadow because they both do the same thing. So I will drag this over here, and we just need to make it appear if it's on water. So to do this, I'll do if it is touching the terrain, then actually I'll put an if else statement. So if it's touching terrain, then we want it to hide. So I'll just do set ghost effect to 100. That's the same thing as hide. And otherwise we want it to cast another plane almost, but a bit more, faded out, because that's what reflection kind of looks like. So let's do ghost effect to 50, and also set brightness to -25 to make it a bit more dark and more like a shadow. I mean a reflection. So you can have that, and I'm also going to duplicate that into, okay, that wasn't the right way to do it. Yeah, just drag it here. Yep, we don't need this. Yep, and I'm going to put that there for the reflection. And for the shadow, we don't need these. We can just have ghost effect to, or we want it to show when it's touching terrain, so 0 here and 100 here, and put that there. So now if I go to the water, yep, becomes the reflection. And if I go back, yep, becomes the shadow. So we have our plane down, and if you only came to this video for the shadow, then yeah, we're kind of done. So let's get back to let's make the bullets and the enemies now, because right now the game's kind of boring. You kind of just fly around. So to do that, we can first make a bullet system, and we can do this by making clones. But for this game specifically, I'm going to avoid clones so that we can make the cool, 3 bullet shooting system. So yeah, kind of looks like, it's not repeatedly shooting out. We can also do that with clones, but I just feel like it's easier to get the bullets bugged while using clones. So yeah, for this video, I'm just going to use sprites, multiple sprites instead of clones. I'll show you how to do this. So first we want to make our bullets, and to make the bullets come out nicely of the plane, we can draw an orange. I mean, if you want your bullet another color, you can pick that, but I'm going to make an orange line go out like that. And to make it perfectly flat, you can hold shift, and I'm just gonna duplicate that. And yep, we do have our bullets here, and we can do Control X to cut and paste here, and don't move it from here because it's aligned to the plane right now. So we can name this bullet 1, and also we want to set this sprite size to 40%, so that's as small as the plane, and we can do that. And then to make the bullet fire after the other bullets that we're going to make later, we can make a variable called bullet, and then we can set that to 1. So this is basically telling us which bullet to fire. And this might not make sense right now because we only have 1 bullet, but we're going to have 3 of these. And you can have more than 3 of these, but I'm going to make it like a 3-time burst shooting kind of thing. So yeah, just have 3 of these sprites. The reason I'm not already duplicating the sprite is because the code won't be duplicated if I do that now. So yeah, I'm just going to make the code for 1 bullet now and then duplicate it later. So forever, we want to go to the plane because we actually want it to shoot out of the plane. And then also we want it to go to the front layer so that's not behind the terrain or the shadow. So go to front layer. We also want it to point in the same direction as the plane. So here, direction of plane. Yep, there we go. And we want to hide when it's not fired, so let's make it hide. Then if only the key space is pressed, which I'm using as the key bind to fire, you can make it a click or W or up arrow key or any other key you want, but I'm going to use this space bar. It's key space pressed. Then we only want this specific bullet to fire if the bullet is equal to 1. So we want to do if bullets equal to 1. So if it is this bullet's turn to fire, then we show, and we want to change bullet by 1, so this increases bullet by 1, and that basically tells the next bullet to fire the next time the key space is pressed. And then we want it to move straight ahead until it collides to the plane or I guess the bullet can go through the plane in our case, so you can take down multiple enemy planes with 1 bullet. That'll probably take too long to showcase, but yeah, you can make this not happen by making it hide when it touches a plane, but I'm just gonna make it go ahead until it touches the edge. So repeat until touching edge. We want it to move 20 steps, which is pretty fast, so you can change how fast the bullet goes by changing the number of steps. And we also want the number of bullets to reset after we're making 3 sprites, so once the variable bullet is above 3, we want it to go back to 1 so that we can tell the first bullet to fire again. So to do this, we can do if bullet is more than 3, then we can set bullet to 1. And then duplicate this 3 times to make bullet 1, 2, and 3. And this time we can have bullet, we can change this to 2 because this is bullet 2 and you want it to fire after bullet 1. And every other piece of code stays the same. So here, bullet 3. And then now I think we do have our shooting system. Yep. As you can see, have our bullets firing. Yep. So now we can have our enemy planes. So for this, I kind of got lazy and just put, red. I could have made the plane look different, but I just put a red to symbolize that the plane's evil. But yeah, I'm gonna do the same here, but you can make it a different plane just because it makes more sense for the enemy plane to be a different plane. But I'm gonna, okay, I shouldn't change the size. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the same thing I did in the demo here. So red, and then I'm gonna do that. Make it invisible so that it's kind of like that. Then make it go to the back layer. So we have something like we did in our demo. And again, we can set this to 40% size. So set size to 40%. And yep, there we go. And now we also want to, for the enemy planes, I did use clones because we can't have like a million different enemy planes sprites. So for this, I'm just gonna hide the original sprite because we're making clones. And then also we want it to go somewhere on the top of the screen, but we can't see it yet. So just to go to, and we want to pick random from the left side of the screen to the right. So pick random between minus 240 to 240. And the top of the screen is 180. I'm just going to do that. You can set it higher so that it spawns even higher up, but I don't want I kind of want the plane to like spawn on screen. So yeah, I did that. And after that, we can wait 1 second just to give the player, time to move around. This is optional, you can get rid of it, but and then we can wait a certain amount of seconds and then create a clone. So I did make it progressively harder by changing this certain amount of seconds by using a variable. I just called it frequency. And I'm going to set the frequency to 4.5 at first. And you can change this to something higher if you're making your game progressively harder, slower. But if you're trying to do the same thing as me, you can copy whatever values I use. And we also want the frequency to change over time. So forever, we want to wait 4.5 seconds. And then, okay, this is, you might ask why 4.5. I'm just making it, the frequency change every 4.5 seconds. So this and this aren't really the same thing. And then we set frequency to whatever the frequency is divided by 1.2. 1.2 is a pretty large number, so that's why the game gets difficult pretty fast. You can change this value, and also this value to change how fast your game gets harder. So yeah, we have that, and we also want to make the game, we also want to make the code for the clones now. So let's do, when I start as a clone, we want to show. And we also, actually, this should be in the clone. So I'll just put that there. And then we want to set speed. Okay, I'm going to create this is what coordinates all the planes to go at the same speed once another one spawns in. So set speed to, and we want it to be a bit random, so I'm just going to put it between 0.5 and 2. Make sure this isn't too high because right now our plane is moving at 3 steps per, 3 steps. Then here it's 2 steps, so I'm making it so that the plane's never as fast as the enemy plane's never as fast as the plane you're controlling, but you can change that obviously. And I'm gonna make it repeat until statement because we want it to keep going towards the plane until a bullet hits it or it hits the plane. So repeat until touching plane or touching one of the bullets. So touching bullet 1, bullet 2, or bullet 3. For that, it's gonna stack up or statements. So put that there. Touching plane or bullet 1 or bullet 2 or bullet 3. There we go. And we want to point towards the plane. Point towards, yep, the plane. Oh, the plane, because we want it to move towards it. And also move speed steps. So this ensures every new plane that spawns changes the speed of all of the planes, and also it, changes the speed to something random. And if it's touching the plane, then we want to, end the game. Kind of got lazy with the end and just put a stop all statement, but you can obviously make a game over screen. So yeah. And then we want to also increase the score. So if it's doing those, so if it's touching one of the bullets, then we want to change score by 1. So score can be another. Okay, we can get rid of the bullet and speed and put this over here. And we want to change the score by 1 and also delete this clone. And should have the completed game where, yep, we probably should have made the enemy planes a bit smaller than the actual plane because it's pretty difficult. But at the same time, I guess the bullet hits it. It's more likely for a bullet to hit it, so. Yep. This is pretty good already, but you can add, upgrades so that you can shoot more bullets. You can also randomize the plane speed so to each individual plane by not putting this in here. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.